When I arrived at the wedding venue, the custom-made wedding dress was worn by another woman. She was wearing my necklace and ring, holding my fiancé's arm, chatting and laughing happily. Blake didn't care at all, slightly raising his eyebrows and saying, "Lila has never worn a wedding dress before. She just wanted to try it on. Don't overreact." Without crying or making a scene, I unilaterally called off the engagement at a gathering with friends. He swirled his wine glass with an arrogant expression. Within 3 days, she'll definitely beg to come back and reconcile with me. But 3 days later, I walked out of the civil affairs office holding a marriage certificate and holding hands with another man. I glared coldly at Lila Jew and said, "Take off my wedding dress." She glanced at me, immediately putting on a pitiful expression as she complained to Blake. Blake immediately stepped in front of her to shield her. "Fei Qin, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. What's the harm in letting Lila wear it for a while? She never had a wedding when she got married and just wants to experience it this time. Don't be so selfish." Lila Jew reached out to pull Blake, and I saw my wedding ring with Blake on her finger. My hand holding the bag trembled uncontrollably. I couldn't believe it and was about to grab her hand to confirm. Before I could even touch her, Blake pushed me first. I fell to the ground from his push, hit the coffee table, and knocked over several cups, which shattered with a crisp sound. The glass shards cut my arm. He probably didn't expect it, froze for a moment, then immediately walked over to help me up. Are you okay? I didn't mean to. I thought you were going to hit Lila." I forcefully shook him off and used the other side of the sofa to stand up on my own. "Blake, is this how fiercely you protect her?" I let out a light laugh. His expression changed, and he stubbornly said, "I was just afraid you might do something irrational. I was trying to protect you. You let another woman wear my wedding dress, put on my ring, and hold on to my fiancé at our wedding. Do you really think I can stay rational, Fei Qin?" I already explained, Lila just wanted to experience wearing a wedding dress. Don't blow this out of proportion. That's right, Miss Qin. I just wanted to try it on since I've never worn a wedding dress before. If it bothers you so much, I'll apologize right now. I'll take it off and return it to you immediately, Lila Jew said with an innocent look. After speaking, she turned to enter the fitting room to change. However, she had only taken 2 steps. She screamed and fell to the ground. Then came the sound of fabric tearing. She stepped on her dress while wearing high heels. The wedding dress was ruined by her stepping on it. Blake rushed over nervously to help her up. "Are you okay?" Her eyes instantly welled up with tears, and she said in a choked voice, I'm fine. I just twisted my ankle. It's this wedding dress. Blake, I really didn't mean to. Miss Qin must hate me to death. It's okay. I'll handle it." Blake comforted her. He walked up to me. "Fei Qin, the wedding dress is ruined. Just go to the bridal shop and rent another one. Don't let it delay the wedding." I was so angry I could laugh. I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. He covered his cheek, his eyes filled with disbelief. He shouted at me, "Fei Qin, are you out of your mind?" "Blake, I'd like to ask, are you actually my fiancé or Lila Jew's? If you and Lila Jew are truly in love, why don't we just change the bride for today's wedding? What nonsense are you talking? Don't you know what my relationship with Luran is? Back then, Luran died saving me. I promised him I'd take good care of his wife. You know all this. So how could you think of us in such a filthy way? I owe Luran my life. Without him, the person standing before you wouldn't exist. The only way I can repay him is by looking after Lila. I hope you understand." I nodded. "I do understand. That's why I didn't say anything when you left me alone at a gas station in the suburbs to help her move. That's also why I didn't complain when you walked out halfway through our movie because she called, when I was sick and needed your care. You were indifferent, taking her on trips around town instead. Blake, I understood you all too well." He opened his mouth as if to say something, but no words came out. "Blake, let's break up. I'm not going through with this marriage." Hearing this, he looked at me in shock. "What kind of joke is this? The wedding is about to start, the guests will be arriving soon." But 2 seconds later, his expression changed. "Are you trying to scare me, just because of the wedding dress?" Lila Jew also came over upon hearing this. "Miss Qin, don't misunderstand. After Luran left, I was the only one left at home. There are many things a woman can't handle alone, so I had to ask Blake to help me. If you're really bothered by it, I will try not to contact him anymore in the future. Lila Jew, you don't have to pretend anymore, I interrupted her. We're both women. I know exactly what's on your mind. Isn't all of this exactly what you wanted to see today? After speaking, I glanced at her disheveled wedding dress. Is my wedding dress pretty? She nodded blankly. 150,000. What? Her eyes widened in shock. I smiled and said, I said this wedding dress costs 150,000. Since you ruined it, you'll have to pay for it. I pulled out the receipt and shoved it at her. I have no connection to Blakely now. I don't owe you any favors for his sake. You have 3 days to return the money to me, otherwise, we'll settle this at the police station. Blake Liu flushed with anger. Fei Qin, don't go too far. Are you getting it backwards? Anyone who sees this mess of yours wouldn't think I'm the one being excessive. If you want to help her pay for it, that's fine too. You know my account details. With that, I turned to leave. Blake Liu fumed behind me. Fei Qin, if you step out of this door today, don't you ever think about coming back? I turned a deaf ear to his words and didn't slow my pace. Mrs. Liu happened to be coming in from outside. She grabbed me, looking puzzled. Fei Qin, where are you going? The wedding is about to start, why haven't you changed yet? I froze for a moment, then took a bracelet out of my bag. This was given to me by Liu's mother during our engagement. I almost forgot about it. I handed her the bracelet and said, Auntie, I'm returning this bracelet to you. I won't be attending today's wedding. Mother Liu's expression froze for a few seconds. Before she could react, I walked past her and left the hall. The news of the cancelled wedding soon reached my parents. I had expected a storm of fury to follow. To my surprise, after hearing everything, my parents remained unusually calm and even comforted me instead. It's just as well that the problem was discovered before marriage. If after marriage you'd have to endure so much hardship for him forever, then this marriage really shouldn't happen. I breathed a sigh of relief. I was about to get some proper rest when my phone in the bag vibrated, signaling a new message. I opened it to see a message from Blake Liu. Fei Qin, if you come back now, I can pretend what just happened never occurred. Seeing this line of self-righteous words, I only regretted not slapping him harder in the morning. It clearly hadn't knocked any sense into him. I didn't bother responding. Delete. Block done in one swift motion. That evening, a friend invited me to a bar to celebrate my escape from misery and my return to singlehood. I never liked these kinds of occasions before, but this time I decided to have some fun. When I arrived at the meeting place, my friend was already there. With her was a man so handsome it was hard to look away. This is my cousin, Shen Wei. Anran introduced him to me. He nodded at me and handed me a cocktail. Anran said she was meeting friends, and I was bored so I tagged along for fun. Hope you don't mind. I took the drink and sat down across from him. Not at all. The three of us chatted for a while until Anran suddenly spotted an old friend and was called over, leaving just Shen Wei and me staring awkwardly at each other. After a brief silence, my phone buzzed with a message. Fei Qin. The best way to get over a relationship is to start a new one. My cousin is a golden bachelor, such a great catch. Don't let this opportunity slip away. I can only help you this much. Sis. I took a deep breath and looked at Anran in the distance. She gave me a thumbs up and then dashed away in a flash. To be honest, I hadn't thought about starting a new relationship so soon. Has Anran left? Shen Wei took a sip of wine and raised an eyebrow. Yeah, I put away my phone and answered truthfully. He looked at me with a half smile. Did she say something to you? Your expression is strange. No. I hurriedly took a sip of the wine in front of me to hide my fluster. Suddenly, he leaned closer to me. Fei Qin, you really don't remember me. I was startled by him and looked up, meeting his gaze. In that instant, a figure flashed through my mind. Are you, Alex? Hearing my response, he gave a satisfied hum. During college, I went abroad for an exchange year, that Christmas. The school held a party. It was my first time attending, and I had no experience. As the people beside me were invited away one by one, I sat in the audience feeling increasingly awkward and at a loss. Just as I was about to sneak away unnoticed, a tall, slender man in a suit blocked my path. He extended a hand toward me. May I have this dance? I looked up in surprise to see a handsome, cool Eastern face. That day, I danced the first dance of my life with him. Even though I stepped on him more than 10 times in my panic, he just smiled and patiently told me it was okay, over and over again. Later, not long after Christmas, I ended my exchange program and returned to my home country. This incident became a warm and amusing memory from my study abroad experience. I looked up in pleasant surprise. I didn't expect to meet you here, what a coincidence. He smiled and said, what you think is a coincidence might be someone else's long-planned intention. Fei Qin, at the dance that year, I fell in love with you at first sight. My hand holding the cup trembled slightly. He continued, that day, you ran away too quickly, and I didn't have time to ask for your contact information. I finally managed to track you down, only to find out you had already returned to your home country. I thought, perhaps we really weren't meant to be, but I never expected that years later, when I went back home for the new year, I'd see your photo on Anran's phone. She said you were her best friend. I was so excited at the time, but before I could even feel happy, she told me you were about to get married. He smiled bitterly and said, fate really knows how to play tricks on me. But today, she suddenly told me you called off the engagement. I've missed too many chances already, so this time, I must seize the opportunity. Just as I was at a loss, several people suddenly arrived at the seats next to me. They crowded together and sat down. A man loudly asked the person beside him, Blake, did you and Fei Qin really break up just like that? You were about to get married, just try to smooth things over. Exactly, you two have been together for so long. In any relationship, one side has to bend first. To be honest, Lila Ju went a bit too far this time. If I were Fei Qin, I wouldn't be able to take it either. Then, a familiar voice rang out, and he sneered, comfort her, is that necessary? Within 3 days, Fei Qin will definitely come back to apologize and beg to get back together. Don't I know her? All these years, how many times has she threatened to break up? When did it ever actually happen? She simply can't leave me. She's just obsessed with face and vanity. This time, Lila wore her dress and embarrassed her, so she's pulling this stunt. Just wait and see. Once we're back together, I'll show her who's in charge. I've been too nice to her usually, making her forget her place. Also, don't mention Lila Ju in front of me. Iolu ran. So whatever Lila Ju asks for is not too much. Every single word they said, Shen Wei, and I heard it all clearly without missing a syllable. Hey, Fei Qin. Suddenly, a guy behind him spotted me and exclaimed in surprise. I nodded at him. Blake Liu heard and turned to see it was really me, his face instantly freezing. Without changing my expression, I picked up a glass of wine and stood up, walking over to him. Then, in front of everyone, I turned the glass upside down over his head, pouring all of it onto his hair. He suddenly sprang up and cursed, Fei Qin, are you F***ing crazy? I slightly curled my lips. Blake Liu, don't be so narcissistic. Let me make it clear to you today, I will never get back together with you in this lifetime. Stop daydreaming. You're just being stubborn. Everyone knows how much you love me. This time, you're just feeling too embarrassed to back down after things have gone this far. After speaking, he seemed to have thought of something. He laughed and said, besides, you chased me all the way here today, yet you claim you won't get back together with me. You clearly can't let me go and can't live without me. I rolled my eyes in exasperation. Who said she came here for you? Shen Wei, who had somehow appeared beside us, chimed in. He put his arm around my shoulder. Staring at Blake Liu with a provocative expression, Blake Liu widened his eyes and froze for 2 seconds. Then he looked at him suspiciously. Fei Qin, you wouldn't go that far, would you? Hiring a man just to provoke me? Isn't it just that you can't swallow your pride to apologize and want me to coax you? His words were so outrageous that even Shen Wei couldn't help but mock him. Does your ex-fiancé have delusions of grandeur or something? Blake Liu, you've really opened my eyes. How did I never realize how shameless you were before? I scolded. He remained unfazed and even reached out to grab my hand. All right. I know you're trying to save face by deliberately finding someone to provoke me. As long as you apologize to me in front of everyone here today, I'll let bygones be bygones. Let's make up and live a good life together from now on. By the way, how much did you pay this guy you hired? I'll cover the cost for you. With that, he took out his wallet, ready to hand over the money. I forcefully shook him off, snatched the wallet, and threw it back in his face. Who are you insulting, Blake Lu? Can't you understand Chinese or what? Don't think the whole world revolves around you. How dare you treat me, Fei Qin, like I'm at your beck and call? Stop overestimating yourself. I must have been blind to have liked you before. Now that I see your disgusting true colors, I'm done with you. Don't look down on people with your dog eyes, thinking everyone needs your lousy money. I'm officially notifying you today. The gentleman beside me is my new boyfriend. We're doing great now, so stop harassing me. You'd better stay locked up with that green tea bitch Lila. Don't go around ruining other people's lives. After saying all that in one breath, I hooked my arm through Shen Wei's and turned to leave. But Blake Lu grabbed me again. Fei Qin, stop messing around. I don't believe you'd really be with another man, he kept pestering, and my last bit of patience ran out. Shen Wei was the first to twist his hand, making him cry out in pain. I looked down at his disheveled state and asked, "Still don't believe me?" He stiffened his neck and nodded. "I don't believe it." I turned my head to look at Shen Wei. Then, before anyone could react, I pressed my lips against his. The whole world fell silent. Shen Wei was also stunned. The next second, he let go of Blake Lu's hand, wrapped his arm around my waist, and deepened the kiss. I don't know how long it lasted, but I only saw Blake Lu in front of me, his face pale with disbelief. Shen Wei held my hand and led me out of the bar. Before leaving, he warned Blake Lu, "Stop harassing my girlfriend, or next time. It won't be as simple as just dislocating your arm today." After coming out, I awkwardly tried to let go of Shen Wei's hand, but he gripped it tightly. "What, you're just going to use me and throw me away?" I froze for a moment. That's not what I meant." He put away his smile and said seriously, "Fei Qin, everything I told you inside was sincere. Right now, you might not know me well enough, so I'll tell you everything about my situation. I hope you can seriously consider me. My name is Shen Wei, 28 years old, 185 centimeters tall, weighing 70 kilograms. Currently, I'm the general manager of Shen Group, with an annual salary plus shareholder dividends exceeding 100 million yuan, no history of any illnesses or genetic diseases. Well, I've had 2 relationships before. The first was in high school, but we broke up when I went abroad for college. The second was during my freshman year." "Shen Wei," I interrupted him, "you're very kind and outstanding. Thank you for helping me out today, but I really can't start a new relationship so quickly. If I agree to be with you now, it would be irresponsible to this potential relationship and disrespectful to you. I hope you can understand." I didn't dare to look into his eyes again. After speaking, I lowered my head to gaze at the elongated shadow under the streetlight. The next workday, I got ready to go to work, though going to work really meant going to resign. Blake Lu and I worked at the same company, just in different departments. I don't want to have any future entanglements with him, so it's better to nip it in the bud early. When I arrived at the company's entrance, as luck would have it, Blake Lu was standing right at the door. There was a woman beside him, both laughing and chatting, and she even shyly covered her mouth before playfully giving his arm a light punch. I walked over, and Lila Ju noticed me first. I intended to ignore her, but she called out to me, "Miss Qin." I glanced at her but had no intention of responding. She wouldn't let me off the hook. "Miss Qin, I bought some breakfast for Blake. Would you like some too?" I turned around to see her triumphantly linking arms with Blake Lu. Her face wore a victorious expression. I noticed Blake Lu is still wearing the same clothes as last night. He's someone who cares a lot about his appearance and usually wouldn't wear the same outfit 2 days in a row. Which means he probably didn't go home last night. He noticed my probing gaze. Lila Ju said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, Blake and I officially got together yesterday. Miss Qin, you wouldn't mind, would you? But then again, you have no right to mind. You were the one who broke up with Blake." Her barely contained joy was impossible to hide. I glanced up at Blake Lu. He turned his head away without looking at me. I snorted lightly and walked away. Perfect, a bitch and a dog. A match made in heaven. I wonder how that underground Luran would feel if he knew his good brother had slept with his wife. I didn't speak loudly, but it was enough for both of them to hear clearly. Blake Lu's face instantly turned green. I hadn't been in the office long when Blakely followed me in. My colleague tactfully found an excuse to leave. He sat down across from me. Fei Qin, you've misunderstood. I'm not with Lila Ju. Yesterday was just an accident because I drank too much. While packing my things, I glanced at him. He seemed utterly ridiculous to me. No need to explain to me. We have no relationship now. I don't care if you're with Lila Ju, Wang Lila, or Li Lila. He got flustered, suddenly standing up to stop my hands from packing. Was that man yesterday arranged by you to provoke me? I'll pretend nothing ever happened if you just admit it. We can be together properly from now on. I pushed his hand away in disgust. Blakely. How many times do I have to say it? There's no way I'm getting back together with you. That guy yesterday is my current boyfriend. Have you already forgotten what he warned you about? Stay away from me. I don't want to see you. Suddenly, he snatched the resignation letter from my desk. You're resigning, Fei Qin. Are you crazy? This job is so good, and you've worked so hard to get to where you are now. You're just going to quit like this? I scoffed. You think everyone is like you. Blakely, don't you get it? I'm quitting such a great job just to get away from you. Do you realize how repulsive you are to me now? Stop being so full of yourself and thinking you're so great. His voice trembled slightly. Are you really determined to leave me? I rolled my eyes at him. What else? With that, I took my resignation letter and left the office. I went to find the HR director, only to discover the office was completely empty. I had no choice but to leave. But then I ran into two people in the hallway. Director Shu, I called out to him. He turned to look at me. I handed him the report. I'm preparing to resign. Here's my resignation letter. Before he could voice his surprise, the man walking behind him spoke first. Not approved. I looked behind him in confusion, nearly dropping my jaw in shock. Shen Wei, what are you doing here? Director Shu looked at me, then at him, as if suddenly realizing. So you two know each other. I nodded awkwardly. You could say that. He pointed at Shen Wei and said, seems Director Shen kept the news well hidden. Let me make a formal introduction. President Shen, this is our company's CFO, Fei Qin. Fei Qin, this is our company's newly appointed general manager, President Shen. Today is President Shen's first official day in office, and I was just about to introduce him to everyone. Oh, by the way, you just mentioned you're resigning. Why so sudden? She inquired. Suddenly, as if remembering something, she slapped her forehead. Is it because of Blakely? I heard about what happened between you two yesterday. Fei Qin, take my advice, don't lose your job over a man. Director Shu, you can go ahead with your work. I'll talk to her. Shen Wei suddenly spoke up. Director Shu obediently nodded and then left first. He asked me to follow him to his office. Are you resigning because of Blakely? I don't want to deny it. I'm currently in the finance department. Blakely is in business development, so it's impossible to avoid contact with him. I don't want to have any further connection with him. After some thought, I believe resigning would be better. He smiled and asked me, how many years have you been with the company? I've been here since graduation. Almost 7 years now. He nodded. I understand you don't want to have too much contact with Blakely, but I also don't want you to leave right after I've just arrived. Fei Qin, I acquired this company because of you. If you leave now, wouldn't all my efforts be in vain? I looked at him in shock. You acquired the company because of me. He nodded. How about you become my assistant? This way, you won't have to see Blakely either, and all this won't have been for nothing. I became Shen Wei's assistant, and the news spread throughout the company in just one morning. I overheard colleagues gossiping outside the restroom. Fei Qin must have already been involved with President Shen. Otherwise, how could she break up with Blakely yesterday and become President Shen's secretary today? There's definitely something going on here, and anyone with eyes can see the unusual vibe between them. Another colleague chimed in. That goes without saying. Fei Qin sure knows how to play her cards right. She knows who's worth betting on. But poor Blakely, getting cuckolded by his girlfriend and boss together, with no one to turn for justice. From now on, we might have to call Director Qin the boss's wife. I was about to slam the door and leave when the two were called away by colleagues outside. My phone suddenly rang. It was Shen Wei. I answered the call, and he began, Fei Qin. There's an urgent matter requiring a business trip this afternoon. Go home and pack your luggage now. I'll pick you up later. and we'll head to the airport together." I hung up the phone and walked out. Just as I was about to hail a taxi downstairs, a familiar car pulled up in front of me. Blake Liu rolled down the window and said, "Get in, I'll drive you." I turned my head away, pretending not to hear. He honked the horn, but I still ignored him, helpless. He had no choice but to park the car and step out. "That new general manager Shen is your boyfriend?" he asked, disbelief evident in his tone. I pushed him away and took a step back to create distance between us. "Didn't you see it yesterday? Why ask when you already know the answer?" His face instantly turned red as he shouted at me. "Fei Qin, I never would have guessed. You're really something, aren't you? You two have been sneaking around behind my back for a while now, haven't you? Yeah. You finally landed yourself a rich husband and have been wanting to dump me for a long time. You just seized on a trivial matter yesterday to pick a fight with me. You planned all this in advance and then pinned the blame on me and Lila Ju. What a brilliant scheme. You really outdid yourself. And here I was, stupidly thinking it was all because of Lila Ju." He grew more agitated as he spoke. "Do you know what people in the company are saying behind my back now? They've given me the nickname Green Turtle. It's all because of you." As he spoke, he moved closer to me and grabbed my clothes. I lost my balance and almost fell to the ground because of him. Suddenly, a pair of hands caught me from behind. I turned around and met Shen Wei's gaze. He steadied me, then shielded me behind him, grabbed Blake Liu by the collar, his voice icy cold. "Blake Liu, you remember what I said yesterday, don't you? Try touching my girlfriend one more time." Blake Liu was stunned, but he still stubbornly retorted, "Don't think I'm afraid of you just because the company is yours. You two shameless people. One uses his boss status to hit on an employee's girlfriend. The other is a money-grubbing White Lotus. I got cheated on by you bastards. And I'm supposed to just swallow my anger. Go to hell." As he spoke, he swung his fist towards Shen Wei's face. But before he could even touch Shen Wei, he let out a howl of pain and fell to the ground. Shen Wei flexed his wrist and looked down at him coldly. "Forgot to mention I've been practicing Muay Thai for years." A crowd of onlookers had already gathered around them. I tugged at Shen Wei, wanting to persuade him to leave first. He shook his head at me. "If we leave just like that, wouldn't it confirm all those idle rumors they've been spreading?" Suddenly, a woman came screaming and running through the crowd. "It's Lila Ju." She ran excitedly towards Blake Liu, who was lying on the ground. "Blake, are you okay?" she cried out with all her might. Blake Liu was in so much pain that he kept rolling on the ground. Shen Wei deliberately asked her loudly, "What's your relationship with Blake Liu?" She was stunned for a moment, and when she saw me standing nearby, she immediately became furious, pointing at my nose. She scolded, "Fei Qin, how could you be so vicious? Are you really that jealous that Blake and I are together? Did you have to hire someone to beat him up like this? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Blake and I did everything that should and shouldn't have happened yesterday. All these years, Blake only stayed with you because he felt bad about breaking up after you've been together for so long. He never liked you otherwise. How could he have left you behind time and again just because of a single call from me? You two have already broken up. Blake promised me he would take good care of me and be with me properly from now on. You and him, it's over." Hearing this, Shen Wei clapped her hands in delight. "Great, then I wish the two of you a happy union for 100 years. After saying that, he turned to the onlookers and said, "Did everyone hear that? Now it should be clear who's the homewrecker and who's the scoundrel, right?" In the end, it was Shen Wei who drove me home, after all the hassle. It was already afternoon by the time we reached the airport. He told me the business trip was to inspect an amusement park. The amusement park had been abandoned due to outdated equipment and poor management. He planned to take it over and renovate it. We arrived in the evening. Shen Wei got straight to the point and took me to the amusement park. The park was large, just a bit outdated. "How is it?" he asked me, standing beneath the Ferris wheel. I nodded. "Sounds good. It should be nice after the renovation. How about you give the amusement park a new name?" I paused in surprise. "Me? That doesn't seem appropriate." He smiled. "What's inappropriate about it? This amusement park was originally meant for you." My head buzzed, and I froze for a long moment. He waved his hand in front of my face. "Fei Qin, are you okay?" I regained my composure. "This gift is too extravagant. I can't accept it. Don't feel burdened, I like you. And I want to give you all the good and interesting things in this world. My cousin told me that to win a girl's heart, you need to give gifts. I thought about it, and an amusement park seems like something a girl would love, so I bought this place in your name. You'll design it, you'll run it, and the ownership is yours. Don't worry, no matter what happens between us in the future, I won't take it back. This is the gift I pursued you to give you, nothing more. The streetlight illuminated his earnest expression, and as I looked at him, my mind began to wander. Suddenly, moved by a thought, I stared at him and asked, Shenwei, do you really like me? Of course. Then let's go get our marriage certificate tomorrow. With that said, he froze for a moment, staring at me, but quickly snapped out of it. He smiled and asked, Are you sure? I nodded. Sometimes marriage needs a bit of impulsiveness. I'm not sure if you'll always like me in the future. But at this moment, I feel you're the man I can marry. You're not allowed to regret this, Fei Qin. I will always love you. At 9 o'clock the next day, we arrived punctually at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. He parked the car, glanced inside, then turned to tell me, Fei Qin, it's not too late to change your mind now. I shook my head. I won't. Hearing my answer, his eyes and brows lit up with a smile. Then he got out of the car and opened the door for me. Half an hour later, we walked out with our marriage certificate. He lovingly stroked my hair. Happy wedding, Mrs. Shen. I smiled and replied, Happy wedding to you too. We caught the noon flight back to the company. Shenwei still had some work to finish. He looked at me with concern, then wrote a string of numbers on a sticky note and handed it to me. This is the passcode for my door lock. Go back and rest this afternoon. I'll come find you when I'm done. You've been running around with me these past 2 days. You must be exhausted. I couldn't win the argument against him in the end. I had no choice but to go rest first. After some thought, I decided to cook a delicious meal before he returned, to give him a surprise. Just as I stepped out of his office, as luck would have it, I ran straight into Blakelu. Ha! Look at you, so smug and pleased with yourself. It's disgusting. He sneered. I didn't want to argue with him any further and was about to walk away. He grabbed me again. I saw clearly that what he was holding was a resignation letter. It seems he still has some sense of shame, knowing he can't stay any longer. Catching my gaze, he snapped, Don't think just because you've climbed up the social ladder that you can laugh at me. I'm just not willing to put up with this bullshit. With my skills, any company would be fighting to hire me once I'm out of here. A second-hand woman like you should worry about yourself. Someone like Shenwei, with all his money, is just playing around with you. Do you really think he'd take you seriously? Get bored after playing for a few days, throw it away, and you'll deserve it then. I shook off his hand. Blakelu, don't assume everyone is like you. What I do is none of your business. You have no right to judge. He put on a careless demeanor. I have no right to judge, but as your ex-fiancé, I'm kindly advising you not to go astray. What status does the Shen family have, and what status do you have? Stop dreaming of being Cinderella over there. He would never marry you. At most, he might make you his secret mistress in the future. Fei Qin, wake up sooner rather than later. With a click, the door was opened from the inside. Shenwei stepped out, his face cold enough to freeze. He stared at Blakelu as if he wanted to devour him. Blakelu, what kind of rumors were you spreading about my wife just now outside? Blakelu froze, pointing at me in disbelief. Wife, huh? Shenwei raised an eyebrow. We are legally protected as husband and wife. Fei Qin is my rightful spouse. Got a problem with that? With that, he pulled out their marriage certificate and opened it in front of him, then asked, See it clearly now. Blakelu's face turned completely green with rage. Then, he glared at me hatefully and said through gritted teeth, Fei Qin, what a clever move. With that, he angrily threw the resignation letter at Shenwei and declared, Screw this damn job. I quit. Then he turned and stormed out. After just a few steps, he was called back by Shenwei. Manager Lu, I've approved your resignation letter. Just a friendly reminder, when you look for a new job, don't bother with the same industry. I've already given all the bosses a heads up that your work performance, Blakelu, is mediocre at best. Blakelu turned around in shock. Shenwei smiled and waved towards the back. Security, escort him out. This person is not to appear near the company again from now on. After that day, I hardly ever saw Blake Liu again. Knowing him as I do, I'm certain he couldn't have fallen to this point without hating me, but Shen Wei might have already taken care of everything behind my back, until one day, while I was shopping at the mall to pick out a gift for Shen Wei, I encountered a familiar face in a luxury store. Lila Ju was clinging to a man who looked even older than her father, acting coquettishly. "Darling, I really want this. Won't you buy it for me?" The man's eyes gleamed with a cunning light as he teased. "Then you're not allowed to go back to see that useless boyfriend of yours this weekend. You'll stay and keep me company properly." Lila Ju lowered her head shyly and agreed. "Don't worry, as long as you buy it for me, I'll stay and keep you company properly. That stupid man, I only stayed with him before because he had a good job. Now that he's lost his job and just lazes around at home all day, eating and spending my money, I've been looking for an excuse to dump him for a long time." Hearing this, the man was very satisfied with her answer. "Have the salesperson wrap it up and pay immediately." I stood at the door and recorded the whole thing with my phone. I couldn't pass up this chance to disgust Blake Liu. That night, I registered a new email account, uploaded the video, and anonymously sent it to Blake Liu. A few days later, a social news alert suddenly popped up on my phone. A man violently assaulted his girlfriend on the street. The woman was beaten into paralysis by the man, who has since been arrested by the police. I clicked on it and saw clearly that the woman was Lila Ju. Who else could have hit her if not Blake Liu? My feelings were somewhat complicated, but then again, I thought it was all their own doing. Just as I turned off my phone, Shen Wei came out of the bathroom after showering. He hugged me and asked, "Honey, next week is our first wedding anniversary. How do you want to celebrate?" I looked at the man before me whose eyes were filled with nothing but me, and for the first time, I felt truly blessed. At that final moment, I broke free from the mire and then met Shen Wei. I hugged him back. "As long as I'm with you, any life is a good one."